everybody? This is Clayton Densley. We're so happy to have y'all here today for a brand new Chill with Clayton episode. I am so excited about it today. Man, it has gotten frigidly cold out here in Texas as it is starting to feel more like wintertime here in Texas. Heck, you can see I got a couple Christmas pillows out here today. Pretty cool. So, y'all, welcome into Chill with Clayton. Hope y'all are excited about today's episode. I got an awesome guest with me today. Can't wait to introduce you to him in just a few moments. But if you have seen our show before, remember to give our show a like and a subscribe. Tell your friends and family about the show. Go check out the Chill with Clayton email, chillwithclayton@gmail.com. You can come and be a part of the show, ask us questions, and give us topics. Also, check out Chill with Clayton on Instagram, where you can get the daily Bible verse of the day with some cool music. And now, since it's December, I'm entering in with some Christmas music, man. But, folks, I'm excited for this episode. And man, oh man, how this thing happened is kind of crazy because I'm still trying to process this myself. But, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest today, Roman Enticknap. Roman,
Hey
welcome to
Clayton,
Chill with Clayton, man.
how's it going?
It's going well, my man. It's going well. It is crazy how this thing happened because I'll just go ahead and say it. How we met was, well, funny enough, it was only like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
I mean,
We met
could
at a small group.
we did meet at a small group. It was pretty cool. The Cross Young Adults, if y'all don't know, it is
Yep.
a young adults group we have here in Wylie, Texas. So if you are in the Wylie local area, hey, come check it out. It's on Mondays at uh 6:30. Yeah, 6:30.
Yep. 6:30.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I
Pretty
showed up
cool.
to Young Adults for the first time. I met Clayton. We hit it off. We were in the same small group. And then next week I think he invited me to the podcast. And I just took a little while to get scheduling down, but now here I am.
Yeah, man. We're so excited to have you in here today. Now, Roman, you got a pretty cool thing that you do right now here in the Wylie local area. Can you just go ahead and tell us about what that is and kind of tell people where about your life story?
Yeah, so right now I'm full-time staffing with YWAM, Youth with a Mission, which is a nonprofit mission organization. I'm full-time with YWAM Wylie. Um, right now I help run the kitchen. I help lead some ESL classes, English as Second Language classes, and I also work in our local coffee shop, Coffee at the Hub. And so it's kind of an interesting story how I got to this place where I'm in ministry full time. At first, it took God breaking me down, like all the way to ground zero again before I could be put back up into kind of a tool for Him. I kind of grew up Christian, I guess. You know, my dad was Christian, my mom was Christian. My dad really didn't really go to church, but my mom, like, I grew up in small groups, and my mom was a children's director at the first church that we went to as a family. I got involved with like doing some tech stuff, so like I was running slides and lights and stuff for my church back home in Washington State. And that's kind of my first, like, I was in with the church and I was going to youth group. And then when I was 15 years old, I got to go on a mission trip um, to Knoxon, Montana. And that was cool. It was my first time like spending a week and actually doing something for God. Um, and it kind of instilled in me a love for missions. I went there one more time and it was just as cool. And then for my third mission trip, I got to go with um, a really cool organization to Peru and teach mixed martial arts and self-defense classes. And that was a really cool opportunity to go to Takana, Peru, and kind of teach the impoverished people and the women and children at risk of human trafficking. And that was really cool. Um, at this point, I was 17 and I was in a relationship with a girl and I was living as a Christian, but only by name, really. I wasn't really living for God. And things kind of went downhill, and I kind of fell into this deep depression, where I broke up with this girl and I started hanging around with a bad crowd, and I was just kind of really angry all the time about at God and sad and kind of depressed, like really depressed. And one day after hanging out at my friend's house, doing things we shouldn't have been doing, just like being dumb teens, on the way back home, I decided I wanted to go the long way. And in Washington, the long ways to my house from my friend's house was just this windy road with lots of trees, and it was dark, and there was never any cops on it. So I decided I just wanted to speed. So I had my music full blast, and I was going 60, 80 miles an hour, depending on the stretch of road on this 35-mile-an-hour road. And so I totally wiped out. I lost traction going 60 miles, and I crashed head on into a tree, which I shouldn't have survived from, really. But God saved me. I didn't even have a scratch on my body. The paramedics came, and they were like checking me out, right? And they said to me, like, you're lucky to be alive. The cop, before he knew I hit a tree, said, this tree is probably storm damage. If you hit that, you would have been dead. And I kind of was just like, okay, I must have imagined hitting the tree. And it wasn't until much later that night when they pulled my car out that it was very apparent that I hit that tree. My entire car was destroyed. Shouldn't have survived, but after I had this wreck when I was down there, down the hill where my car landed, I remember reaching for a door handle. Like I was reaching for the door handle. And as I was closing my hand around the door handle, the next thing I know is that same motion, I'm lifting a tree branch over my head and I'm at the top of the hill. And so I don't really know what happened there. I always attribute it to God, whether it was him, protecting me and helping me get up that hill, or it was him just teleporting me to the top of that hill. I don't really know, but it was a miracle that I survived that. And from that moment, I kind of knew I had to live for God. Like I knew my life wasn't my own, right? He saved me. I kind of owed him something. He saved my life from that. And I realized I was wasting my life in the way I was living. And I would like to say that right after that moment, like everything was good. But honestly, it stayed pretty bad. I just stopped doing some of those bad things. But I still struggled with a lot of things. And it wasn't until months later that my parents approached me and said, "Hey, Roman, I think you're in a bad spot right now. We think it'd be good for you to get out of the house. We'd like to pay for you to go do a YWAM school, a DTS, which is a discipleship training school with youth with a mission." I did that and it changed my life. And it was really an awesome experience. I went all the way down to Texas from my home state of Washington, and I got to go on outreach to like Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. It was really cool just to kind of spend those 5 weeks ministering to people. And I realized that's what I want to do with my life. And now here I am. I did one more secondary school, school of ministry development, and now I'm on staff here, planning to do my third school this next fall.
Yeah, when we first got introduced together and you told me that story about the whole thing with the car crash and then all the missions, I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, because I've seen car crashes and I don't think I ever, seen the car crash that happened. But I mean, the way you were telling it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, what a testimony. I mean, I know my testimony, and I kind of told you it myself. I mean, I was just a kind of a regular guy, but I did kind of have like not a car wreck kind of moment, but I dealt with homelessness like when I was in junior high and high school. So it's like you have those bumps in the road, but I mean, what we see now is God's made something beautiful out of it, and like has this
Mhm.
this northwestern kid down here in South down here in Texas, where it almost feels like it's back home in Washington. Because I mean, it's cold out here, folks.
Yeah,
So
it's cold.
so I gotta ask about doing YWAM now. Like, what do you think he's got planned for your future, along with YWAM, and even like you said, like doing missions as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So right now the plan is I'll do my third school, a Bible study or a Bible school for the nations, which is a really kind of more intense look at the Bible and talks a lot about theology and stuff from what I understand.
Hmm.
So I'll be doing that in September. So almost a year from now, I'll be doing that. And after that, it's kind of a little bit up in the air. God has definitely given me a heart for Muslims in the Middle East and France. And so I think my plan, whether or not God allows this to happen, it's in His hands. But right now, the plan, what I think God is calling me towards, is as I get a little bit older, um, moving to Europe, to France, ministering to Muslims there, and helping lead some stuff there, or at least being a part of some stuff there. What that looks like right now, I don't exactly know. I think God has in His heart. He wants to revive France. They're in a spot where they're not super Christian. They're definitely not super big sending nation, but I think God wants to make them a sending nation, and I want to be a part of that. And then after that, I think the goal will be to move into North Africa or doing missions in North Africa or the Middle East. So staying around the Mediterranean though, and uh, and just kind of like ministering to Muslims down there. How that looks exactly, I don't fully know, but I'm trusting in God that He will make that desire a reality.
Man, I mean that. I mean, how God called you into that. I mean, what an opportunity that is. I would definitely be praying my hardest on that, and just hopefully the people that God is going to bring to you to help you with that mission, man. I mean, what a challenge. I mean, because as we all know right now, a lot of Muslims have been moving in here to America. I mean, we've seen that with NYC's new mayor, and then all the other like many mosques have now been built around here in the
Yep.
U.S. as well.
Yeah, and it's even in this local community. In Wylie, Wylie is one of the most diverse. This DFW area is one of the most diverse parts of Texas, and we have a large number of Muslims moving in, and also like starting their churches, mosques, and stuff like that. And so there's a real opportunity even locally to minister to Muslims, and we do that with our English as a second language classes here in Wylie. We have a group of Muslim men who come in, and we teach them English and administer the gospel to them at the end of each of those lessons. And so the goal is overseas, but the heart is Muslims, right? And that's here. Missions doesn't just look like sending short-term or long-term people from Christian nations into unchristian nations. It looks like where you are in your local community, whether that's here in Texas or somewhere else in the States or even in Europe, Africa, Asia, wherever it is. If you have faith, it's your call, and it's a privilege that God is giving you to minister to people even locally to you. And there's Muslims everywhere. They're a massive community of Muslims in most countries.
Man, I mean, what a mission you got there. For our viewers, let me ask you this question. What is your favorite Bible verse, and like what kind of encouragement could you give our viewers today?
Yeah, so my favorite Bible verse is Psalm 23, which is the for the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. And it keeps going, but I think my favorite one is the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, because it's a promise that David is recognizing in God, which is um the Lord is my shepherd, right? Like the shepherd protects, the shepherd, it says later, leads to food, and even in times of trial, like in front of your enemy, he prepares a table, your cup runs over. Like he it's a promise of not just protection, but abundance as well, that God wants to and will and is providing for you. And that some some translations say I will not want, others say I shall not lack. And it's so just kind of this in hard times, maybe like um you're dealing with homelessness, or you're dealing with poverty, or even in these times where it's like you're not sure that um God has a plan in store for you, or that you're unsatisfied with not having what you need, right? Um God says, I am your shepherd, right? And David recognizes that and says, I will lack nothing. But sometimes that looks different, like we think about it in an earthly sense, right? Which is like, oh, well, I need a wife, I need a car, I need house, I need money, I need all this stuff. But sometimes God is saying, no, I will give you contentness in your situation. No, I will give you contentness in your wanting. And so no matter what hard times you're going through, there is this promise that God gives in the scriptures, which is that for Paul, it was my mercies are enough, or my grace is enough, right? And for other people, it's no but. Like, no, you can't have this. No, this is not my plan for you. But I have something better. And so when you're looking and setting your heart so strongly on whatever it is in this world, just remember that God is giving you him, which is enough. And a relationship with him, although it's not necessarily, that's the end of it. It continues from there. It is the start where you live your life out of that God is offering you, that brings you contentness and brings you life.
Man, what encouraging words for our friends and family that are watching the show, man. I really appreciate you to be a part of the show, and what a story you have for our fans out here. And man, it's a pleasure to know you, my friend. Can't believe that God put us in our lives, even though like an interviews happened with you like 2 weeks later. Kind of insane. But man, I
Yeah.
want to thank you for being on the show. So, folks, that was my interview with Roman Enticknap. If you want to learn more about Youth with a Mission, I'll ask Mike to put the link in there and you can check it out for yourselves. But folks, we also got some really cool stuff happening with Passion. We got vlogs going to come out very on that time, and also daily reels that will come out for Passion and the days of Passion. So like from January 1st to January 3rd. So folks, that was the special announcement. We got some Christmas extras on the way, folks. But folks, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. And remember, don't mess with Texas. Keep Jesus first. God bless y'all. Roman, say it with me. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
There you go, y'all. I got the Washington boy now a Texan.